Welcome to sleepingdog.video. I turned down the on-screen of Filmic Pro volume down a tiny bit. I have the RX receiver set to -6, and I have the transmitter on my Rogue Wireless Pro set to auto gain, and this should be pretty good. Before I had to, you see right now, says it peaked into the red. So maybe I have to adjust down just slightly again. Okay, let's try that and see, trying to see if that's too low or too high. You have on the receiver unit, you have only settings in plus minus 3 dB. So you have like -6, then you can do -9, or you can do -3, but you can't do -4 or -5. So that's maybe a little bit of a bummer, because then you don't have as gradual grain control, whatever it's called. Granular, that's it, granular control of this. And as you can see, it shows that it peaked right there. So I'm still going to have to work with it. But I'm just showing these tests, and you can watch what you want to see if I'm getting any better on how I'm controlling this. I think I'm learning a little bit better. I did watch my video of doing manual control and upping and downing the volume, and that really showed me, and it showed you guys, that -26 on the transmitter side was higher volume than +0, which doesn't make sense again to me. On the receiver, +0 is much higher than -26. So that's correct the way it's supposed to be. But you would think then it would be the exact same way on the transmitter side. But as you can hear, if you watch that video, that the transmitter side, -26, is louder than +0. So that confuses me. Now, if someone can tell me or understand how that is, maybe it's in conjunction with RX, the transmitter's volume, and maybe it's supposed to be that way. But to me, it seems like it's not supposed to be that way. So I'm playing back and forth. It seems like it's a dance, so to speak, between adjusting the transmitter volume but if I have it in auto mode, that's for the transmitter, then there shouldn't be any gain control over the transmitter. It should be what it is, what the like the robot or the AI wants to do on the gain assist. It's in a gain assist what it wants to gain assist, and I don't have any control then over that. The only control I have over is the RX, which is the receiver volume, which is upping and downing in 3 decibel levels at a time. So that is less control to me. But I don't know, I'm finding that I still get peaking. So if auto gain assist is supposed to work so it doesn't peak, that doesn't seem like it's really helping much in the peaking. So maybe it's supposed to raise low volume like this. If I talk really low, it'll raise the low volume so it isn't as low. So I'll try talking relatively low for a while. And maybe that'll raise the volume. I'll have to listen to it again and see if that's right. Opposed to talking really loud like I'm doing now. I'll try to talk at a mid-level volume. Now, according to the manual, the auto gain control is supposed to level out the meters. It's almost like a normalization. What I think it should do. I don't think it sounds so far, but I'm new to this, so maybe I'll figure out later how to adjust it and tweak it to the right settings. But it doesn't seem like it's normalizing the signal. Normally, I don't like normalization in software because what normalization usually does is it flattens out the signal so there's virtually no lows, but there's virtually no highs. So that takes away from dynamics in, you want lows and highs in music and you want lows and highs in your cinematic videos. So you want a loud airplane to be a little higher, not clipping, but a little higher than if you have someone whispering in the video. You want that to be very low, but you want it high enough that you don't have to turn up the volume all the time. Have you ever had movies to where you have to up the volume all the time when you have two people speaking? They want to speak at a low volume, but then you have to up the volume. I would rather have audio equipment where you can have a normal volume level of the people speaking to each other, but then still sound like it's low speaking between two people, but it's not so low that you keep having to raise up and down the volume levels. I think with AI these days, my feeling is that we should be getting into the fact that we shouldn't have to, as a consumer, raise and lower the volume of when we hear the vocals. Now, there are certain things like on the Apple TV and maybe my TV also where it will up the main channel's volume. So that seems to help somewhat because I've tried that. That seems to help somewhat. It ups those frequencies and that does help to make me hear the volume of the speaker's audio, of the people speaking. And it doesn't seem to affect too much like car sounds and background sounds, so you still want to raise and lower automatically those sounds so it sounds natural. Because I like my videos to sound natural. So in LumaFusion, I can have a dynamic gain control in software where I can set it and it should kind of more or less cut off the sound so it'll never peak. Now, how that affects the overall sound, we'll see together. So I just wanted to practice a little bit on these sounds. So I have it dumbed down to my peaking is maybe up to -20 or -30, and the low volume, yeah, so maybe it peaks at -13 or -16 from what I can tell on the meters on my Filmic Pro. That's the high, and then the lows, if I speak real low, will go down to maybe -6 to -8 on those meters. So we'll see how this test sounds. And again, let me check and see. This is in auto mode for the transmitter, and it is -6 dB on the receiver side. I'm going to do another test with the same volume of Filmic Pro. This is another test to see what the dynamic mode opposed to the auto mode is like. It looks like from my meters that the auto mode and the dynamic mode is about the same because I'm recording this in a quiet environment. So it should only affect if there's loud background sounds. So I'll have to do some tests outside to see in noisier environments how each of these modes work. But I'm thinking that this should be about the same volume. Now, I haven't exported this video, so I don't know if it will sound loud enough or whether it'll be low volume. That's still one of the issues. Now, right now, if it's coming into the mic inputs, it seems like it's coming in really good. So I have to also, as I said before, play around with this and see if every time I hook it up, do a test, which you should before you start recording, do a test and see just if it's low volume, even when I have the slider turned all the way up to max on the Filmic Pro. If it's still low, and then I'll try different things like unplugging and plugging it back in and seeing if it's not sensing it, my Ugreen connector correctly on the iPhone. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I just have to play around with it and figure out maybe what some of the issues are, because right now it seems like this should be correct volume levels, but then when I was doing other tests it was like way low volume levels. If you watch my video online of the showing how to get this connected and the connectors, and it's recording over the internal iPhone video, this then iPhone speakers, it is really low if you want to hear that, and then wondering why is it so low and why was it so low there when it seems to be higher here, although I have it set all the way to maximum, which I had said in the past I don't like to do because then it gives me no leeway. If it gives me leeway to turn it down, but it doesn't give me leeway to turn it up anymore if it's not going to be high enough gain. So So this is my test of the dynamic gain control on the transmitter. Set to -6 in manual mode, but as I'm listening to the audio, I don't think that makes any difference when it's set to auto or dynamic gain control. So maybe this dynamic gain control, so take that into account.